Hello, product people. Welcome to the Product for Product podcast, hosted by Matt Green, data advocate and product manager, and Moshe product leader and author. Our goal is to serve the product community by helping you find products that can help make your work in product management easier. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Product for Product podcast.
Welcome back. Today, we're happy to have Yusuke Nishijima on the show to chat about the no-code platform Adalo. How you doing, Yusuke?
I'm really doing great. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for joining us today. Really looking forward to hearing about Adalo.
Hey, Yusuke. Hey, Matt. Thank you for joining us. And you're coming virtually to us all the way from Japan, right?
Yes.
I think you are our first guest from Japan, so that's also exciting.
What part of Japan?
I'm in Tokyo right now.
Okay.
We had the Olympics last year.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
Oh, right. And this is actually this series is quite on no code is quite international. We had guests from England and from South Africa. Jesus, when we recorded it, he was in the States, but he's also from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Yusuke from Japan. So It's very cool.
Gone global.
Maybe there is more more people internationally are using those no code. I don't know what it is exactly. But
yeah, that's interesting. Something for us to look into.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the interesting things, first of all, introduce yourself to us, Yusuke, because you're not like a traditional product manager. And when I talked with you about Adalo before, I found your use case quite interesting. Because we're talking, you know what? Let's first introduce yourself, and then I will tell you why I found it interesting.
Yes. Hi, I'm Yusuke. I was, born in Japan. Grew up here in Tokyo. My career is not really like a product manager, but I had a kind of dream to make my mobile app because I used to study abroad in California, and I saw Uber or Airbnb or very good apps. And I always had so many ideas that I want to make, but because my background is mostly business, and I tried coding once, but actually I gave up. So what I had as I said, a desire to make an app, and I made the Adalo service in 2020, and I started using around December in 2020.
Mm-hmm. And then, so what type of apps did you build?
Yes. So before I, met Adalo, I was just posting on Facebook group, I want to make this app and I'm looking for engineer. And actually one of my friends told me, just try no code tools. And I started looking some articles about no code. And I always give up something when the service is difficult, because when I gave up programming, it was too difficult. So when I was choosing a no-code platform, I chose the easiest one, which is more understandable or easy to use. And then I ended up picking up Adalo.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Can you tell us one of the apps that you built with it?
Yes. So actually, I made 6 apps in the end, in 1 year or something. At the time, I was not working full time, so I had a free time. And the reason behind I made 6 apps is actually, when I launched the first app, I realized that the idea doesn't work. So I did a pivot. But my pivot was, making another app by no code, because Adalo is so easy to use. So the first app I made was called My Bottle, because in Japan, there's no public trash bins. So I had to always carry around my the bottles from cafes or any trash from beverage shops. So that was a kind of problem I had personally.
Wait. So you're saying there is no trash bins in Japan anywhere?
No.
So how do people throw their trash when they're let's say I'm walking my dog and he poops and I need to collect it?
Yeah, people actually take trash home.
Interesting.
Or there's some trash bin in the convenience store, but there's no bins on the public streets other countries. And actually,
I'm always complaining in my city that there are not enough trash bins.
Yeah,
Moshe be in trouble in Japan.
So and then I was just researching about why Japan doesn't have any trash bins, and I saw the article like in the past we had like accident in the train station. Like someone brought like a kind of poisoning gas
I
attack in
remember
the train
that.
station.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
remember
then
that.
since that Japanese government stopped them providing trash bins after that.
Interesting. Yeah. And thinking about, my city here around where I live, I live in a suburb of Toronto, and the trash bins, most of the trash bins are actually provided by the public system. So next to every bus station, there is a trash bin.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
Okay. Yeah. So what was the idea for the app?
Yeah, so my first idea was like collaborating with merchants, like any shops on the street, and then maybe I can like throw away my personal trash by giving them maybe 10 cents or 20 cents. But my thought was maybe it's too much, like getting merchant onboarded. Also, I was wondering if they want to collect our personal trash. So maybe maybe this idea doesn't work. And then I was just Googling a lot, and I found that Starbucks, any major cafes actually accept reusable bottles, and if I can bring my own bottle, I can get some discounts as well. And also it's good for environment. We can reduce plastics, but before I researching, I didn't know about it, and also it's kind of annoying to ask the staff at the cafe shop, if you accept like a reusable bottle or not.
Yeah.
So, and my idea was, just going to many shops and see if they accept a reusable bottle, and then I will list up all the cafes or any beverage shops that accept a reusable bottle, so that I don't have to carry around my bottles. Also in winter, it's really cold in Japan, so I thought it's a nice idea to bring around reusable bottle, reduce unnecessary trash. So that was the solution for me in Japan, because we don't have any trash bins.
So did you build an app that, let me guess, but you basically build an app that will map where all of these places that will accept it, so people don't have to ask for it and they can find it right away on the map?
Yes. So the UI UX is actually using the Google API. So the main page is like a Google map, and also there's some pages showing that how much discount they can get if they bring. So that was the first app I've ever made with Adalo. So I could build in 2 or 3 weeks, and registering App Store account or Google Play Store account. So I built it from nothing from the website. I watched some YouTube videos from Adalo or other personal videos, and it was really helpful.
Mm-hmm. So with Adalo, you can build an actual native app. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then you can push it to the App Store and the Google Play. You see, now basically everyone know I have now an iPhone and not an Android.
Android,
because I don't even remember the name of their
what it is. Yeah. So Adalo is all mobile.
Yes. Also, it can be web app too. If you provide a link, anyone can use it as well.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. And then the pushing the application to the different stores is done also from Adalo. So it's like you don't have to leave it and you just push it from over there.
Yes. So once I finish, designing or a page setting, I just need to publish from the Adalo platform. So I can choose a Play Store or App Store, and there's a manual how to publish it, and it's really easy to follow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool because this way it's like they help you through all the steps, because sometimes it could be also daunting. How do I publish it, and when do they accept it, and how do I know that they accepted it? And sometimes about rules, is this legal for me even to put in there or whatever, right?
Yeah, similar to this podcast, the way our platform that distributes our podcast for us. So.
Exactly. Cool. So maybe. So what I started before saying that, your use case was very interesting for me. And the reason is because one of the things that Matt and I were talking about in the first episode of this series is how product managers or aspiring product managers can build, applications to do something to, they want to get into product. And I think that when I talked with you before, Yusuke, I asked you, that was one of the questions I asked you, do you want to be a product manager, right? Is that your aspiration? I don't remember if the answer was yes or no, or at least I wasn't very clear if that's your aspiration or not. Is it actually?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm interested in actually product manager role. But mostly the job description says, how many, it requires 2 years, 3 years experience beforehand. But my experience is just with Adalo. So I've never done any like more actual work. So.
But that's exactly the point that I'm trying to talk about, that it doesn't really matter which application you use, like if it is Adalo or not, because being a product manager is not about the technology where you build the solution. Being a product manager is about finding a problem, identifying that the problem is correct or is a real problem that people will want to solve, and then building something, and then learning from what you build, and then pivoting, and then all of those things that sometimes we think about, founders are doing, and that's what you did. You're like a one-person founder of this idea, and product managers are doing a lot of that stuff, and it doesn't really matter if you do it on Adalo or not. You actually one step ahead of many other aspiring product managers that never built anything. Exactly. So they may have learned product management, they may have talked with millions of product managers, but if they didn't even build one product, then you're better off than they are, in my mind anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's why it was so interesting for me to talk with you, because and bring you on the podcast, because we want to really show this value to our audience, especially aspiring product managers. But it's not just, and that's the cool thing about no code, because of the low barrier of entry. You said it was hard for you to learn development. I can tell you, I've been a developer for 20 years. I've been on engineering for 20 years. I didn't touch software code for 12 years now, and I'm not going to touch it again. And it's much easier for me to try things with no code rather than go back and start to developing things. Yeah. So of course there is much more powerful things you can do when you're a developer, but on the other end, to start a product, no code is a great option. So that's really why it was so interesting for me to bring you on. So tell us a bit more about Adalo. Why did you find it so easy?
Yes. So I think each no-code platform has an introduction video on the main page. So I play like YouTube, see the introduction video. And when I saw the Adalo introduction YouTube video, it was really clear and it was so easy to understand. And then, I saw an article like, which platform I should choose. And then, I ended up choosing Adalo because I thought the YouTube video was so easy.
So it was just based on these demos that you saw, not like trying different products?
Yes.
Okay. So can you describe to us, what does it take to build an app like that on Adalo? What do you have to do in Adalo?
Yes. So actually, there's some templates to begin with. They have a chat template or like photo sharing or ticket service template. There's some templates, and you can customize some templates as well. And also, if you get used to it, you can make your own like service from scratch. And then basically, I just need to create pages for each screen, and then I need to attach form, also like connect to database, so that which button leads to this action and which button is going to accommodate any data. So it's very intuitive. So once I saw the 4 or 5 YouTube videos, I could make like a very basic system, I guess.
And what are they using for the database?
What's the database?
Yeah, is it their own database or do they use something external like?
It's the database is actually provided by Adalo, but I can connect to other database out there, like Airtable or any Firebase or any other database.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about it when we talked about software and about Glide, that they have software is actually only Airtables, and Glide, they have their own internal and also connected with Google Sheets and Airtable, and now also Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. So it seems like very similar with Adalo.
Were you on the free plan, or were you on there's a pro plan? The pro plan looks like it has the database connection that allows you to go off of Adalo's database.
Yeah, so the free plan allows you to insert 50, 60 lines of database. But once I want to get a 5 gigabyte database, it's a pro plan. Also, pro plan allows you to publish on App Store or Play stores. Okay. So like actually you can try out the kind of very simple apps for free. And then once you want to upload or like on App Store, Google Play Store, you need to be pro plan.
Yeah, so this is where you can use the free plan to prototype, work out your idea, validate your idea, and then if it's actually something that you want to you say, okay, this is ready to go, then you can move to the pro plan. Pro plan is $50 a month.
Yeah, and we didn't touch on prices in this series at all. It's an interesting thing to see, what's the prices, but all of them are not very expensive. It's quite affordable, especially in the some of the lower scales.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the developers, if you're not paying for development, you're not paying for the additional resources.
Absolutely. You don't have all that expense. You're right.
So it's not very expensive.
Even if you're paying developers, you need to host it somewhere. So your application, you need to host. Well, if you're talking about an app, then it's basically the App Store. That's where you push it. So you don't really need to host it. But if it's a web app, or a desktop app or whatever, like desktop web app, not mobile. You still need to host it somewhere. So hosting also costs. So nothing in life is free.
It's totally free, right?
Other than social media. And we know it's not free.
We know that's not free, right?
It costs other things.
Yes, it does.
Cool. So did you have to use their support, or do they have like network of people that you can ask questions if you need to learn how to use it?
Yes. I use mostly like I ask question in actually Facebook group. There's a Facebook group called like Adalo users, and there I don't know like 2,000, 3,000 people in a group, and the people post some questions, and we just answer question if it's if someone knows, and it was really helpful actually. I could make some connection with other Adalo users, and we message each other to ask questions. For example, like when I launched my photo sharing app, I got rejected by App Store because my app didn't have the block function, and that was a requirement. And I asked one of the Facebook group friend. He said, you can implement like this, and it really helped me a lot. So, having a community for the same no-code platform is really important, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the powers of apps is that they can introduce a lot of different features that sometimes it's integrated with other features. Like, you mentioned Google Maps, right? So does Adalo have these integrations with a lot of different services, so you don't have to develop them yourself, or not have them on your app because they don't support it?
Yeah, there's some like integration like Stripe or like Apple Pay or Google Pay. Yeah, there's an instruction as well how to use it. Also these days, I think Adalo launched the service that like paid template. So that if you pay for the template, and I can use some like the function or template, so that people can make apps easier.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they have like a library of templates you can buy. So tell us, what are the 3 best features of Adalo?
The features, I think because the templates are already like very clean and very well designed. I heard with Bubble or other platform, you need to like adjust the pixel or a lot of things. But when I use Adalo, it's already clean and like very looks fashionable. It's like listing templates. That's like I think good point. And in terms of UI, it's really easy to understand. Like when I study coding, I had to learn about the looping or a very complicated like an idea. But with Adalo, it explained by like the sentences, like like for example, repeat or like action, or it's very like understandable sentences. And lastly, maybe there's so many YouTube videos, I guess, about Adalo so that people just can follow and they make the same template by themselves.
Yeah,
I think that's the good feature.
Yeah, it's important for sure. Yeah, on that note, what are 3 things that you might want to see improved?
Yeah, so maybe in terms of the photo sharing app, because iPhone image is so huge. So when I want to show it on the app, it takes time. So maybe it's to make it like Instagram, when people upload the photo, the quality of the picture has to be decreased so that the server can show the picture faster. But from the kind of beginner perspective, this kind of like improvement is kind of hard to implement. And the secondary for like data management, if I know about database, about Airtable or Firebase, I can improve my database as well. So if I want like kind of like a little bit improvement from the the first launch, it just takes time to improve. And also I need some like a technical person who knows these kind of like strategy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we like about also mentioning things that you want to see improvements. So if Adalo listen to that, they have more feedback about it. So that's thank you for that.
Yeah. You mentioned the photo sharing app a couple of times. So is that something you have in production out there in the marketplace? Is that something that you have up and running on Adalo?
Yes. Yeah. So I have actually 3 photo sharing apps, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you like to mention those or how they're doing.
Yeah. So I made the first app called My Bottle. The app to know the locations that I can bring my own bottle. But since it was my first launch, and people actually not listing any cafes because maybe my UI UX was bad, or people don't know how to use the app, and then it was kind of unexpected thing. But I couldn't give up my idea, so I did pivoted around the new year. I was just cleaning my room. There are so many unused items like video games or like the Kindle or so many items. But once I research about sustainability in the world, and the kind of unnecessary trash is very a lot, and at the time I just wanted to give away for free or something. So I made an app where people can share photos of unused items, and other people can contact the person to get items. So that was like a second idea. And after that, I made a snack photo sharing app because I love snacks and I wanted to know what other people recommend. And lastly, I made like a traveling photo sharing app that people can know the location and the photo at the same time. So these are the 3 like photo sharing apps I made so far.
That's cool. You sound like a product manager. So
yeah.
You may not have the official title, but I think you're on that track, or you are doing those things. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, and it's funny because my kids, they really think it's going to be very cool if there is going to be an app where they can evaluate washrooms, restrooms. We call them washrooms over here.
Yep.
Where people can go in and say, "Oh, this is very clean," or "This is not so clean," and stuff like that, and maybe also share some pictures, stuff like that. So I actually, when I was playing with Glide, I created one for them. So maybe I will try it also with Adalo and then compare the two.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Actually, I went to New York last summer for the first time in my life, and I struggled to find a public bathroom in a train station or like in the public places. So I made an app called like P-Org, it sounds like New York, but it's actually P
Oh,
York.
P York.
And I listed up the bathrooms I found in the town when I was traveling.
Yeah.
And I posted on like a Japanese Facebook group who live in New York. And actually I got like 200 downloads in one day. And I got good feedback. I wanted to do these kind of things, or I got so many good comments.
That's awesome.
But yes, the Moshe told me like there's a demand, like people don't want to use the dirty
and I think
exactly.
You've identified a problem, and
exactly. The one I created on Glide, I called it the loo, like the loo. But that when I showed it to my kids, they were like, "Oh my god, this is the app we wanted."
There you go, instant feedback. There you go.
Yeah. Well, there is an app out there which is
similar.
I don't know if I should talk about it on the podcast. So if you want to edit it out, Matt, after that's up to you. But
okay,
there is an app that one of my kids was using for some time to track their poops, basically. So them and their friends, every time that they go to the bathroom, they will say, "Oh, I went to the bathroom, and this is the bathroom where I pooped," and it counts their poops. And I'm like, why would anyone want to use an app like that?
There's an app for anything.
What exactly is the problem they're solving there?
Yeah. There truly is an app for everything these days. I think that just proves it.
I know. Okay, very cool. No, this is a very, very interesting, Yusuke. I really enjoyed learning and talking with you about that, and that's also what I felt will be really cool bringing you on, because you're doing it without that title, like Matt said.
Yep.
You're doing it because you have a passion for that.
Yep. And
you want to maybe pivot your career towards that and stuff like that. So you have this entrepreneur mindset, and many entrepreneurs are coming from really product perspective, not from, some of them are coming from, I want to make money. Most of them are coming from, I want to solve a problem.
Right.
So they identify a problem that they have, and they go for it, and they try it out, and then they see if it works. If it doesn't work, you said you reached out to different people, so you got their feedback. You saw how many people download the app, so you saw you got some data there, and you were able to evaluate, is there an interest or not. So that's exactly the things that product managers need to do, whether they do it on a job for a specific company and they're trying to solve a problem that the company is trying to solve, or they work for themselves, or whatever it is. So I'm encouraging every aspiring product manager to do what you're doing.
Yeah, and a couple other things I wanted to mention about Adalo when I was researching it. They have experts that are approved by Adalo that you can access from the site, and so I thought that was pretty cool. They're approved designers, developers, coaches to help build the app. So if you do want to move to something that's out on Google Play or App Store, you can ask experts for how to build these things. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then they also have something called Marketplace, which has components that are made by third-party developers. So if you are missing something that you want in your application and it's built on React, and you can actually build something, component yourself on React. I think they show you how to do that. So I thought those were pretty cool things.
That is cool. Yeah, that is very cool.
I'm not sure all the low-code, no-code solutions are doing that. So
yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the interesting things. As we go along in every series like that, we'll learn about new features that some of them have, or new services. Mm-hmm. And then it's worthwhile to look into the others and see if they do it too or not, and then help you compare them.
Yep. Things you consider along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of the Adalo expert, actually I'm the expert as well, but it's kind of easy to be approved. You are qualified if you upload, list your apps on the App Store, Play Store, and then you are qualified to apply. And I recently, actually last month, I received a request to build an app for I think a customer. They wanted to build app to connect healthcare and elderly people. So they wanted to make that kind of application. And she asked me, do you have any advice or how to build this? And I got an inquiry from the expert side. So, but every expert has different level. Like for example, my friend of Adalo user actually is really good at design or logic. But for me, I'm more like a intuitive person. So my product is really MVP. But some people really good at the design or like very like well-designed product. So.
Which is also a very interesting point because with full stack development, we always need like a good designer, UX UI designers. It's a huge type of job these days as part of that. And with the no code apps, we are kind of trying to rely on ourselves to do everything. Like in the olden days when I developed, 20 years ago when I developed, I didn't have any designers. So that's why my software looked like it looked, because we didn't have designers back then. So software looked like a developer developed them. But even so, what you're saying, even with the no code platform, even with Adalo, there could be things that you could get help from a designer to make it even look better. But I'm sure that the amount of time that the designer will have to use on your product will be much less than on a full stack one.
Right.
Mainly because they have templates and it's more intuitive and it's more user friendly to create.
And also, they probably have to conform to what Adalo is capable of doing.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Well, excellent.
Yeah. Anything else? Do you want to share with us, Yusuke? Where can people find you?
Where can I find me? Just search me on LinkedIn. Also, I have an app called Yusuke on the App Store. That's my name. My name. If you just type my name, there's app.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that lets you memorize 176 national flags. Because I wanted to have my own face on the App Store, and also I was interested in memorizing flags.
Oh wow, my daughter loves that. I will let her know. She's like already memorized all of Asia flags, I think, and so I will let her know.
Very cool.
Yeah, just search me on the App Store by typing my name. Also, one thing I want to tell everyone was when I was building these 5 apps, I was so excited about every day, bringing my idea in the product in the real life. Sometimes actually I cried when I could launch on the App Store or when I found a bug. So I just want to tell people creating something from an idea and getting feedback or having a user is really awesome moment. And yeah, it's really fun. So I want many people to try Adalo to actually do it.
Yeah, very cool.
Great message.
I love that. You're a very creative person and you have the spirit and the energy to do it. So it's very cool to see.
Thanks so much, Yusuke. I really appreciate you coming on the show. This has really been a really good conversation. I truly enjoyed it.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for inviting me today.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.